And my favorite Halloween memory, probably the other night. So like I'm going home for Halloween, but me and my girlfriend took pictures, and the costume pictures are gonna drop later. So be ready for those. Y'all gonna see them later. It's a pretty cool idea.
Oh, so you're going to reveal the costumes later?
Yeah, I can't spoil it right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Tyler, when the run game has the game that y'all had against Missouri, what have y'all talked about this week in order to be able to build on this?
Just understanding what we have to do in order to have success in the run game like that. Like, it's hard to run the ball when you're in 1st and 20 because somebody jumped off sides, or when you're in 2nd and 10 because we didn't pick up any yards on the first play. So we just have to be mindful of staying ahead of the sticks to allow that run game to be able to build a rhythm and for us to have success like we did in the second half of Missouri.
And for you had a lot of people have talked about your leadership over the past week. How do you plan on carrying that forward throughout the remainder of the season?
Just understanding what I learned about myself and this team. And what I learned is that I kind of took for granted how many young guys we have on the team, because the past 2 years I've been here, there were a lot of older guys. Like I was with guys like Javion Cohen, Emil Eki, or Darian Dalcourt. Last year I was with JC, Seth, Dalcourt, for a lot of older guys in the room. So now that I am the older guy, I have to teach the younger guys how to become the older guy. So understanding that, I just have to push it a little bit with some of the younger guys, but whatever it takes.
What is your message to those younger guys as far as just understanding the standard, how you need to play every single week, that kind of thing?
Just how many people are counting on you, like how many people like really love Alabama football. Like this is a community that like no other. Like that's why I stayed. That's why it was a no-brainer for me to stay, because like I love it. I love Alabama so much because how many people love us, and like the community, the atmosphere that you get just like walking around, going to the store, like everybody's rooting for you. So just think about them when you come, because you're playing for more than yourself. You're playing for your family, of course, and then you're playing for them.
It's interesting you say that, because Kalen talked about discipline and penalties and how he sees in practice that everybody's trying really hard, but when bad things happen, not necessarily just putting them by the side and going on to the next thing. Do you wonder if sometimes there's a little bit of anxiety out there and you guys aren't playing as free as you want to?
No, I disagree. There's no anxiety. If anything, it's just us being excited to play.
Yeah.
I see that as excitement, and we're excited to tee off on the defensive line. So we just have to make sure that we're holding our water. But there's no anxiety at all. We're all playing fast, physical, and free.
What has some of the leadership stuff kind of looked like this week with the bye week, just keeping everybody, still going, trying to push through and then getting into LSU?
Yeah, just reminding everybody that we only get so many opportunities to get better. We only get so many hours in a day to get better, and it would be a shame to waste them while we have so much time to focus on getting better, because a majority of our week we're focusing on scheme, how we're gonna run the ball against this, what checks we're gonna make in a pass game if we have this. Like, there's not a whole bunch of time to work on technique. So now that we're in the bye week now and we have so much time to work on technique, that's what we need to be focusing on. So don't just go through the motions in this bye week. Really take advantage of the time, and I feel like as an offensive line and as a team, we're definitely taking advantage of that time.
I heard you on the next round. You talked about a lesson you learned from Miss Rogers in the 2nd grade.
Yeah.
3 fingers pointed at yourself.
Yeah.
Just curious about that. Was she kind of a role model for you when you were young, growing up?
Yeah, she was a good teacher, and I just remember that. That's the first time I had heard that, and it always stuck with me. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many lessons have you kind of picked up along the way that have helped you maybe here when you were growing up and you and something like that?
Oh, so many. It's hard to tell. One I learned from my mom is that somebody's always watching. So like, whether that's in a good way or a bad way. So like, always give your all on the field, because somebody's always watching. Like, there's you can watch the game from any angle. And I have aspirations to play in the NFL one day, so I need to make sure that I'm playing to the fullest for, one, my team, but two, so they see how hard I play on the down basis.
As you were growing up, you mentioned your mom. You had included Miss Rogers in 2nd grade. I mean, who else was kind of a role model for you, maybe growing up, that just helped you kind of develop into the man you are and the player you are?
Oh man, my Uncle Fox. That's my dog. He was my coach when I played junior Pee Wee, and he saw how good I was, and he didn't just treat me like I was any of the other kids. Like, he was so hard on me. Like, that's why I'm so accustomed to hard coaching. Like, he got on me a lot. Like, I would still make the play, but I wouldn't do things the right way. So that's when back in my defensive end days, like, I wouldn't keep contained well. Sometimes I was crashing inside and just make the play. And he was like, "Look, Tyler, you got to stop doing that." He got on me a lot. So that was my first sense of hard coaching, and that's somebody I'm close with. Like, really close. Whenever I need somebody to keep it real with me, he's my first call. So Yeah, my Uncle Fox for sure.
Was there any one moment with him that maybe stood out that you remember where you were like, you thought you did something right and then he got on you, or maybe a lesson he taught you that was hard, made you run or something like that?
I made a sack, but I came to the sideline expecting him to be excited. He was like, Tyler, you got to stop crashing in, you got to stop crashing in. So that's what has always stuck with me. It's like the result might be good, but at some point it's going to catch up to you.
I'm curious too, do these leadership traits that you have they kind of come naturally, or is this kind of a culmination of maybe things you've learned kind of along the way?
A bit of both. I've always been comfortable leading, but it's just things that I've learned from my parents, family, coaches like Uncle Fox. Just picking up everything from everyone, and then just like watching. I'm a big Steelers fan, so just watching Steelers football, and also in the AFC North that's when I was growing up. Ray Lewis, he was a big leader, so just watching him and leaders like that. Troy Polamalu was a great leader.
You elaborated to her earlier just the amount of opportunity the Tide have left. Can you just speak about what the message for the team will be in the final quarter of the season? Y'all got 4 games remaining left. I tell you, you pretty much know margin of error is small. So what is the message just around the building? Or what's the message been over the bye week pretty much?
Place of the standard has been the same message from the beginning. Like we can't be worried about the circumstance that we're in. We can't change that. What we can change is how we go forward and how we go 1-0, how we continue to play to the standard, and how in our mind, like it's a 1-game season. It's a one game season. We have to take advantage and win every game. That's our mindset.
Tyler, as far as the jersey number you guys each pick out or end up with, like what does that mean to different guys in terms of their identity, and what does it mean to you when you have that number that kind of becomes yours?
The number means a lot to a lot of guys. So I wore number 54 in high school, and that was due to I wore that. It was given to me my junior Pee Wee year, same year Uncle Fox coached me, and that's when I really fell in love with the game of football. That's when I knew like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that number always stuck to me. And when I got here as a freshman, I was able to wear 54 in the spring, but Tyler Steen came over and he wore 54. So they gave that number to Steen, so I picked 52, and I love that number just because it represented like the new era of me, like the college version.
You said that you kind of emphasized your leadership on the younger guys. Has there been a younger guy that you've noticed that kind of stepped up in leadership roles that you can see in the future?
Caden for sure. It's hard to see him as a young guy because he's been starting since last year, but I see him like he lets me lead, but I see those leadership traits and qualities in him, and I always encourage him to lead because he's gonna like one day he will be the guy, and I just want him to be prepared for that. And he definitely has those qualities and traits, and he knows what's right, he knows what's wrong, and I'm just very excited to see him continue to step into that role.
What do you remember about the atmosphere of Tiger Stadium, just having been there before?
Oh man, it was super loud. It was raucous. Very it was very loud, and it was a great stadium. That's like stadiums like that are why you come play in SEC.
You got any,
At the very beginning of the game against Missouri, you got your helmet ripped off. There's a 15-yard penalty. Was there a lot of talking back and forth between you and that guy the rest of the game?
Not necessarily. My job is to go dominate the man across from me, and that doesn't entail talking junk to him. I talk with my pads.
What are some of the things you do to maybe combat not being able to hear the guy next to you? Part was saying like it got so loud in Tennessee that sometimes you couldn't even hear the guy literally right next to you. But what do you do to kind of communicate? Is there body language? Is there?
You just get super close, and just some hand signs that you develop through the week, like just in case of emergency, like stuff we joke about at dinner, what actually comes in handy during the game. So and that's all about chemistry. It's all about knowing the person that you're playing next to. That's all about having that bond, that love for one another. Like you're gonna be able to pick up on little things and understand what they mean, even if you can't talk verbally.
Thank you.
Thanks. Y'all have a